Um, like I said before, I hope you guys are just like loving BOGOs and having so much fun. I think even for me, it's like it challenges me to learn more about the products every single time they get highlighted through some sort of a promotion. And I mean, like I said before, I had a friend that enrolled like probably 4 months ago, and her son is struggling with something, and she started like seeing all our posts about the Terrazyme. And she was like, oh my gosh, has exactly what the functional doctor was just telling me, like, is going on in my son and what he needs. And she was just wowed. And so anyways, it's cool to see people make those connections during book week, you know? So what I wanted to start off the call with tonight is during my like personal development time, which I wouldn't say that I really have like this specific carved out time where I do personal development, but more so I just do it when I'm driving and not on a phone call, or when I'm washing clothes or doing dishes, or if I take Elliot out on a walk in the stroller, or like just little random pockets of time. I've been reading this book called How to Win, Influence, in case you don't hear, How to Win and Influence, or How to Win Friends and Influence People. I never read it because I always just thought it was like, I don't know, I didn't really like the title. And yeah, it's by this guy called Dale Carnegie. And it has been like so good. And so if you guys need a book right now, first of all, I love Audible because I listen to everything on audio. Like if I tried to read a book like this, it would be a struggle. But when I can be moving and listening to it, it goes so much better. And I actually I think I retain a lot more of it. And I just read it quicker too. So anyways, the highlights of the book that I wanted to bring out with you guys was that basically I actually talked to a Blue Diamond, and she challenged me to read it. And she said, it'll only take you a couple days. And then after you're done reading it, you can call me back and we'll talk more, because I had a ton of questions. I start reading it, and it's all about the importance of number one, learning a person's name, and caring enough to learn their name and say their name those first couple times that you meet them. And in conversations with people, being the one that's asking questions, and not just cultural questions like how are you doing today and things like that, but actually caring about people and getting to know them, and really being interested and invested in learning about them and getting to know them as a person. It also talks about just being really intentional about whether you're talking to a person face to face, or just even your own thoughts in your head, or your conversations with friends about other people or whatever it is, being really, really intentional about speaking truth and encouraging words instead of constantly articulating the bad and getting frustrated. And basically he talks in the book how there's enough sucky stuff that happens in the world. We don't have to spend our time dwelling on it and re-articulating it. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about being genuine, and I'm a verbal processor, so sometimes it's necessary for me to talk through situations. But it was such a conviction to me of nobody, there are very few people in this world that meet someone or have a very close friend and spend intentional time thinking about what are my favorite parts about this person, and what do I really love about them, and how can I encourage them in that, in little things that I say, or in ways that I act towards them. How do I actually see them in my head? Am I just looking at people and seeing all their faults, or am I seeing the beauty that's within them? He also talks about the importance of just smiling. And he gives this example of this guy who literally decided he was going to start smiling every single day. And he would get up, go in front of the mirror, and just smile. He would just sit there and smile at himself. And then he'd go out to his wife, who had made breakfast for him, and he would smile at her and say, thanks so much for making me breakfast. And he just started getting super intentional with that. And I know all this stuff sounds so cheesy, but I just wanted to start our call off this week with a challenge for you all to just try to do that for a week and see how it changes things. I know that I've been personally working at it, and well, first of all, life update, if you didn't already know, my husband's in the process of quitting his job at Samuelson Development, where he's worked for 5 years. And so we're back in South Dakota for at least the next 3 months, because he's going to be training the person that's going to replace him. And so, yeah, I have started working out at a new gym, and it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm like, kind of like, oh, well, I hope I make new friends and I hope I can share doTERRA here. It'd be really sweet. But then you go into these situations and suddenly like my mind is just consumed with me. And I'm thinking about like, oh, I wonder what like they think about me. And even in conversations, it's like, oh, what should I share? And like, what will they think of me if I say this or this or this? And this is where my brain is the entire time, right? And then I start listening to this book and I'm like, oh my gosh, Kristen, I needed to be called out. Like, seriously, like, I think so many times, whether it's in life or in our businesses, we get caught up in like, what are people going to think of me because I do an MLM? And what are they going to think of me because I use oils? And what are they going to think of me that blah, 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 that my dream is this, or that my husband's quitting his job and he does not have a next job that he's going to. We're just prioritizing rest for him. Or like, we just get caught up in all that stuff. And honestly, it doesn't make our lives more full. Like, we're more on empty because we live that way. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear like feedback from you guys if you think of it. But first and foremost, I'd love for you to just like challenge yourself. Like, when you go into a situation and like be over friendly, be that person that's smiling and saying hi before somebody else is, and then is asking genuine questions about them. So yes. That's the first thing I want to start off with. And read the book. Like, it's amazing. It's been so helpful for me. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and we'll probably take a majority of our call, and then at the end we'll have time for Q&A. And the Q&A is not just about my announcement, but it can also be about BOGOs or just like anything random that you have going on in your business. And I just like really want to encourage you guys that if you have a question, I promise you somebody else on the call probably has it. And there are so many genius minds on this call. Like, I mean, I'm technically leading the call, but you all, you all inspire me in different ways and are geniuses in all your own ways. And a lot of you are geniuses in ways that I'm like terrible at. So anyways, I just encourage that if you have like some area where you feel like you've been struggling, or maybe you're having a conversation with a specific person or an objection you're coming against or something like that, I'd love it if you take time at the end to share one of those questions, and we can all, just be real community together in this business that we do. So the exciting announcement some of you guys know about is that I applied at the beginning of July for something called Diamond Club with doTERRA. And there's like specific things you have to do to qualify for it. And honestly, like, even when I applied, like all I knew like about it was that people would say like, it's so hard and you're just like killing yourself doing doTERRA all the time, but it's awesome. Like, it'll build your business sort of thing. And so I wasn't even that excited, but I just felt like I should do it and it would be a good thing and I should try. And honestly, I felt like in some ways I was doing Diamond Club already without getting paid at all for reimbursement for travel and stuff like that. And so exciting news, our team was accepted to do Diamond Club. And I say our team, and I mean it in a really genuine way, because like, the reality is there's only 150 people that are selected to be able to do Diamond Club. That's like the max that can be selected, and they don't accept everyone. And there's no way that I could have been accepted without all of you guys. And so I just like want to take time to acknowledge that like, it's like, yes, I'm like the ambassador of the Living Drop Collective right now. And the reality is like, there has to be like one person that's accepted, but it really is like, it's our team that was accepted to do Diamond Club. And I'm going to share with you guys like how I've just been listening to a lot of calls and a lot of different people that have done Diamond Club. And I've been asking a lot of questions of people that have done it and not done so well, and people that have done it and like done really awesome, and just like trying to hear the wisdom in both ends. So as we go into this, we can really see awesome impact for our team. So first off, I want to start off by just explaining what Diamond Club actually is. Basically, the long story short is doTERRA and like between 1 and 3 sponsors. So like my sponsors, for instance, are Callie Kenny, my enroller, and then her enroller, Wendy Hansen, and then her enroller, Michelle Ball. They're all people on our upline. And they all are sponsors, meaning they're literally helping to pay money that helps to reimburse me for part of my travel expenses during the season of Diamond Club. And so in Diamond Club, really the purpose is, like, the reason doTERRA created it, it's called Diamond Club, and you're like, yes, like, do I want to hit diamond? Yes. But more so than that, the purpose of it, the reason why doTERRA did it is because they really want to help develop communities that are like thriving in like this natural health model, using their oils, learning about natural health and preventative health care and things like that. And they really, some of the outcomes I've heard from people are like, of course, there's tons of people that hit diamond during Diamond Club, but more so there's people that like, they literally like their team doubles in size. And so like for you guys, like when you hear that, you just have to think like if you end up being one of the people on my team that I like significantly partner with, meaning like I travel to you or I have classes in your area, whether it's local or away, like that could be your team that is doubling in size, resulting in part of like my team growing as well, or the Living Drop Collective growing. And so I just invite you to start dreaming with me as I continue to share. So to do Diamond Club, the like bare minimums are that you have to have 3 in-area classes per month. And in-area is anywhere within the 50-mile radius that I'm living, like my home base, which technically my home base might change around like October-ish, depending if Tyler's done with his job, we'll go back to Texas. But then my out of area is anywhere past 50 miles from me. So right now, like literally like Sioux City, and for all of you South Dakota, Iowa people, like this area, like Sioux City and Brookings and Watertown and Rapid City and North Dakota and anywhere in Iowa and Nebraska, these places are out of my area. Omaha is out of my area. It's really easy in South Dakota. It's kind of easy in Texas, to be honest, though, too. Like Texas, there's still lots of people on our teams in different areas. So for me to travel out of area to a place, I have to have at least one team member that places a 100 PV LRP. That's a requirement. So anyways, I have to have 3 in-area classes and 3 out-of-area classes per month. But what I will tell you is the top 50 winners basically get a trip to like one of the places that doTERRA sources the oils from. And then there's like a grand prize winner as well. And the winners, like they're typically like they're real intense. Like they're all in. Like they're like, I've talked to people that have done like 5 classes in a day, and they're doing like one-on-ones all through the day. They're doing roller bottle make and takes. They're doing intro to the biz classes, 101 classes, all this stuff. Which brings me to the second point is not only does doTERRA help to partially reimburse for my travel, but any class that I am present at or I teach at, any enrollment at that class, whether it's my enrollment or one of my leaders' enrollments, or it could be somebody from a cross team, like not even somebody on our team. If they have an enrollment at that class, they will get special gifts from doTERRA. There's basically special Diamond Club incentives to enroll with kits. So it's really sweet because basically you guys can guarantee, like if I'm at one of your classes during the next 4 months, you're going to have some sort of sweet incentive for people to enroll with you, which is awesome. That you don't have to pay for also. And I don't either. It's like amazing that doTERRA is choosing to invest in their leaders like this. So anyways, all that to say, that's what Diamond Club is. If you have questions, we can talk about it at the end. But really, I would say that my vision for Diamond Club is not like, I mean, I think some people go into it with like, I'm going to get the most enrollments and I'm going to get a ton of enrollments. And that's not really like what I want. I would say that my vision for Diamond Club is that when I travel to a place, like I would love to travel to some of the areas that I go to, I want to travel to them on repeat and help to partner with you guys to develop amazing new communities. Like just this last week, I'm not going to say a name, but I mean, some people know who I'm talking about. I went to a class and I taught it and it was just like amazing, guys. Like I think we've all had classes like this. Maybe if you're newer, you maybe haven't, but it was one of those classes that you're like, holy smokes, this is why I do what I do, because there wasn't any newbies at the class, but it was totally fine because it was like 6 people, I think, or 7. And these people were just like oil obsessed. Like I didn't even really teach a class because they all were just like sharing what they loved about their oils and all their amazing testimonies. And like they all were like teaching their own little classes with me there. And it was like so fueling. It's like this is like why I do doTERRA. And I think we all see it like on the LDC page. Like who thinks like the LDC page and the community on there is like just amazing. Like it's so encouraging and uplifting. And like these are the same things that we can have in our area. So anyways, with this specific class that I was at, this area right now, what they're doing is they're having one class a week, and they just go to a coffee shop and they talk about their oils, and they have a different topic every week. And like I said, like these people, like there was only 2 business builders at this class, and they just like love their oils. They love them. And it was so fun and energizing to be with them. They all want to be well, and they are just like so eager and anxious to use their oils and use it to help them get better and to help their families to be well. And so anyways, like that is my vision. Like I want to help partner with my leaders to help them see communities either grow like that or expand even further than they already have been. And so anyways, the reality is, like I said, like I'm an ambassador for our team. So the cost for our family is that there still will be expenses that we will have to pay for, because doTERRA only pays for part reimbursement for your travel and things like that. And there's childcare, which I won't get reimbursement for. And I think like the hardest thing is like I'm going to be away from Tyler and away from Elliot a lot more than I usually am, which is hard. But I know that it's going to be worth it. And I want it for our team. Like when I hear people talk about the momentum that Diamond Club creates for teams and how like really like those 4 months just create this momentum that lasts like another half a year at least. Like, I'm like, that's what I want for all of you guys and for us, like as a community. And so anyways, the other really cool thing, just to kind of tie it back to what I was talking about on the beginning, like all of you guys, you have gifts and amazing talents in areas that I don't, and I have gifts in areas that you don't. And I think this will be like a beautiful opportunity for us to partner and learn from each other as we just like really go after it together. And yeah, I'm just like excited to be inspired by it, to become a better leader, and also to see like my leaders develop in even more so into who they are made to be. Like, I think it will just be this beautiful journey for all of us. So all that to say, the reality is like, I can't travel everywhere. And so Tyler and I are kind of just in this stage of like trying to figure out where we're going to travel to, where we're going to have classes, all that kind of stuff. For people that are in my local area, we need to really talk and partner in the fact that I would encourage you to like work out your schedules for when you're having classes with me, because if I can be present, even if you're teaching the class, then your enrollments are going to get gifts. For people out of area, and really in area, like I just ask that, because like there is a cost, like I said, like that you just like partner with me and work your tail off, that if I travel to you or if it's a class in your area, that like when we have a 101 class, you sample every single person before they even come to that 101 class. So then like when they come to that class, they're like ready to enroll. They're like, they hear that incentive and they're like, yes, I want these oils. I've experienced them. I love them. And like when I come, like just book me solid. Like I'm not afraid of it. Honestly, like I was talking with this Blue Diamond now, and she won Diamond Club last spring or something like that. It's Ruth Go. She's the only person that's diamond and above. She's a Blue Diamond in South Dakota. And she just said like, I'd rather be busy the whole time so I don't even have to think about how I miss my kids and my husband. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. I'd rather just be like loving every minute, meeting new amazing people, and just sharing oils with people. So like I said, whether that's like one-on-ones with current business builders or new people that want to learn about oils, or it's one-on-one classes or leader training things like business training classes or intro to the businesses, or meeting with, like, I asked that question in coffee time, like who's like one person or one business that you would love to partner with? Like those people, like set up meetings for me to go with you and meet with them and talk about how they could build their own doTERRA community. I don't know, Ruth even said like she literally took copies of newspaper articles that were like about wellness advocates in certain cities, and she would go to a news station and be like, hey guys, like I don't know if you knew, but there's like this amazing doTERRA educator in your area, and here's an article that's been written in a different city about a leader just like her. You need to feature her in an article because she's amazing. And like she's doing like all sorts of things like that, and I'm like open to do any of that kind of stuff. So what I just ask is that you guys, I'm having meetings with all of my qualifying leaders, Danny, Londa, Laura, Melissa, and I just ask that if you're on any of their teams and you're wanting me to come to your area, or you're wanting to like have a class in your area that I'm at or anything like that, or teach a class, like even if it's local here, talk to the qualifying leg that's above you and tell them like what you vision and what you would want to do over that time. And even like practicals are helpful. Like if you have a job and you just can't do certain times, like letting them know that. And then we'll go from there. And I'm sure I'll be in communication with you guys all if you're wanting that. But just starting with like sharing it with one of those qualifying leaders would be awesome, because then we can start brainstorming stuff. They were talking about pushing back the start of Diamond Club to September 1st. And they just announced today that it's starting August 1st, meaning I gotta get my butt in gear to plan all my travel and trips and local classes and everything. But like I said, I'm super excited and pumped for the momentum that it's going to create. So anyways, I'm done with my whole thing, but we can go ahead and, oh, you guys are all so sweet. You guys can go ahead and like, if you have any specific questions like about Diamond Club or expectations or what it would look like. Yeah, no more traveling to Aberdeen. That's right. So yeah, do you guys have questions about Diamond Club, or do you guys have questions about convention? Do you have questions about BOGOs? Do you have questions about like objections you're getting, or I don't know, anything? doTERRA life balance. It doesn't exist, but you know what I mean.
At least it doesn't exist during BOGO week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was already talking.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was already talking about this earlier, but anybody that's like high profile in my world, like people that like teach like classes for the community or like just know a lot of people, they're always so leery of MLMs because so many people they know are selling them or like selling something, you know? And I feel that too, like, dang, everyone in the world is selling something these days. So then their comment is always, like, if I can't buy from everyone, I buy from nobody. And so I'm just like, well, that's not true, because you buy from Target and you don't buy from Walmart, and like you're choosing certain places, but I don't really know how to communicate like the BS in that, you know?
So I have one that I reached out to about that too, because she responded, like when I asked her to an initial class, she was like, well, I've got this lady down the block that sells oils, and my sister-in-law sells oils, and so I just don't buy from anybody. And she still hasn't bought from me, at least. I don't know about anybody else. But my response was just, oh, honey, like, I get where you're coming from, but I just want you to know that you're missing out. Like, I don't even care if you buy oils from me, but buy oils from someone because you need these in your life. And I think that's just my approach to it. Like I said, she still hasn't bought from me, but I'll keep working on her.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to say too is like, I feel like it always comes down to like I don't know, like, I guess like as I've been reading this book, like How to Win Friends and Influence Others, I've been thinking about some high profile people that I've like, even one of them, well, you know, Carrie Penner. I had this conversation with her in the past and I like made a fool of myself. But I just took action and I definitely learned from it. So I don't regret it. But in that conversation, like all I was thinking about was me. And I know this isn't you, but I'm saying like just in conversations like that, like picturing like if you were in their world. And I feel like I would say something for me, like my personality, I would say something along the lines of like, oh yeah, like I don't want you to buy something from me just like because I'm your friend or because we're this like connection or because I've referred people to you. I know the situation obviously more than everybody else does, but like saying like, but I'll just tell you like we have an awesome community of people that are super passionate about oils. And I think you would just benefit from it so much. And that's the benefit of the MLM model. It can be done really poorly where you just feel like you have to buy stuff from people because they're your friends and there's like this pressure. But then there's also this beauty that comes in an MLM where it's like there's this relationship and you could honestly buy oils from Whole Foods and they're not that great a quality, but like you're also not going to get any access to education. And that's like what sets my team apart from the rest. And I don't know, there's certain people in my life where I'm like, I see them doing the business and I've thought about even saying something along the lines of like, you just don't realize, like, for instance, like somebody like Danny that owns their own business, like approaching them and saying like, right now you have an incredible impact and influence on people. But when, like, if you choose to do something like doTERRA, where you can like it will just increase your impact and your influence of the people that are already coming into your gym. You're going to be able to help them so much more. And we saw that even in like Neil's office, you know, like how oils like allowed us to get into people's lives and help them so much more, like Katie DeYoung and stuff like that. So anyways, that's like a completely different conversation. I don't know that that's necessarily the conversation you're having with this person, but
it's never normally in person, which always sucks.
Yeah.
Like this is over Instagram Messenger where you can't even type out very many words.
Yeah.
Like, wow, let's find a time to meet up. So that's why I ended up like ordering for her this time, just for an opportunity to meet in person. So It's like, we're going to meet when you have time to talk, and then we're going to talk about this again. So you just like don't want to close the door and be like, well, if you're not going to enroll, then I'm not going to like order for you. It's just such a hard
especially when Terrazyme is $37.50 or $50.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's a good question. Thanks for asking, Mel. Anybody else have questions?
Who all is going to hit a new rank this month because of the Virgos?
Who all is gonna what?
Hit a new rank.
Oh.
Brittany, you look like you're like really trying to decide if it's going to happen or not. Let's be real. It could happen tomorrow.
It has been a great. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura, for the headphone suggestion, because it totally works now.
Yay.
I will be able to use Boxer. It has been insane. No one prepared me for this. Like, just like when you guys said BOGOs were coming, I was like, oh, okay, you know, and I'll just figure it out. And then there's like all this business strategy, and like people are just very excited. And I wake up having DDR Prime and Vetiver dreams, and I just it's crazy. But yeah, it's been crazy. It's been exciting though, and I think what's super fun is being able to work with Kayla and Anne and getting their goals met, just even getting them the Power of 3 bonus. Yeah, it's been crazy.
So good.
So your little anticipatory set you put in the messages about, I have an exciting announcement. I was like, I can't take anymore.
Oops. what was I going to say? Oh, so Brittany mentioned Vitiver and DDR Prime. In case you guys are interested, there's actually like a secret Facebook group, and it's called like Autism, ADHD, and something else with essential oils. And there's like a ton of information on how to use oils for that sort of person. And Brittany's been working with a lot of parents that have kids that are on the spectrum. And so anyways, if you want to know about the group, you can send me a PM on Facebook and I'll add you to it.
I did have one question about the BOGOs. You had mentioned something about when someone enrolls, you put a BOGO order on their enrollment.
Well, actually, Mel, do you want to share the strategy you did last time?
I wouldn't say it's like totally effective for this time though. Maybe you don't
because
agree.
There's not the Lifelong Vitality Pack promo.
It wasn't Lifelong Vitality. It was New Year, New You.
Oh yeah, the 100 point.
So that's when you wanted them to be able to get 100 PV. The only reason to do that now is so that you get paid the fast start on it. So like if you had 5 orders from today, whatever, 5 times 37, is it 37 PV? I don't even know what the PV is. 3750 PV.
I don't know what the PV, yeah.
So I mean, like over almost 160 PV would be 5 of them. I haven't ordered mine yet. Can you tell?
I haven't
So
either.
then you're making 20% back when you put it on an enrollment order. They just have to be willing to pay the $35, obviously. So if they paid the $35 and wanted a BOGO or more, and you added other BOGOs on, then you're actually making more money because you're getting 20% of the fast start rather than just putting them on somebody else's account or your account and then just earning points or like a percentage.
And
Does that make sense?
It works the same way if they get a kit. They just wouldn't have to pay that fee. So they would buy their kit, and if you added those extra 5 BOGOs on, then you'd still be making that 20% off of it.
Yeah. It's a little dicey because then you've got like them paying for some, you paying for some, then you're like shipping it to yourself, and it's not super ideal, but it's like if you're really trying to work the system and get an enrollment for like a premier bonus or earn more fast start, that's an option. It was perfect for January, February, so that's when that's the video you guys are all rough.
Yeah. Because I think we're like I feel like our team's working more on volume, and so that's good that that's not as big of a, because I was getting nervous about charging 5 BOGOs to someone else's account and keeping track of which account I charged BOGOs to, and so
don't do that. Yeah. You'd have to put it on your card if you're gonna run something like that,
even on an enrollment.
Yeah. No, I'd never charge somebody else's card for other oils.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay, which I haven't done. I just was very confused as to how to do that.
The only benefit that it would be to the person enrolling is that like you could just like reimburse them for their shipping charges and they'd still get shipping points back. But I had a lady that was interested in getting the BOGO yesterday, and I brought that up, and then it just confused her. So it was not actually helpful. So sorry, Brittany.
It'd have to be like your sister or your like.
Yes, it's got to be somebody you know super well and is just kind of like they just trust you and they don't have to understand everything. Otherwise, it's so much to try to get them to understand.
Well, and the people who are enrolling aren't doing the BOGOs. Like, that's what's funny, is they haven't really been shown interest in the BOGOs. And so to try and explain to them about the BOGOs.
Yes.
So thank you. Yep, that's good.
That's good. Sweet. Well, I was done with my part before 9. This is a record that I actually met a time thing that I said. Just kidding. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining. Love you all, and I'm excited to be in touch about Diamond Club stuff and be seeing lots of you guys. So, bye. Have a good night. Happy BOGOing.